Dave Campbell's Texas Football here at the 2023 Texas High School Coaches Association Coaching School and Convention here in Houston. I'm Greg Tepper, joined by the head coach, the winningest head coach in Vandegrift history, Coach Drew Sanders, here for our annual State of the Vipers address. Thank you for joining us, sir.
Hey, glad to be here.
I appreciate it. First of all, I understand that the State of the Vipers address almost had to be postponed.
Oh,
can you tell us a little bit about what happened?
Basically, for our viewers out there, we decided to take a big family vacation and splurged and went to Italy. But little did I know that the Italian air workers are really upset with their pay rates, and they decided to strike on the day we were leaving, and kind of set us back. But
you negotiated a piece?
I did. I actually negotiated the whole thing. Everybody got raises, and I'm here today.
That's fantastic.
Yeah.
That's fantastic.
Yep.
Okay. Let's open it up as we normally do. Coach, what is the state of the Vipers?
I think the state of the Vipers is strong. I think we had our strongest year we've ever had in our history. Next year, for our viewers out there, it's my 15th year at Vandegrift, and so we were excited to make it to our first state title game in 6A. So we were proud of our efforts, and now we've got to find a way to get back there now that we've tasted that.
I would say that obviously along the way, you guys had some remarkable victories. Dripping Springs springs to mind.
Yeah.
The one that I think is probably the definitive victory in 2022 has to be over Katy. I mean, you talk about a perennial power coached by one of the all-time greats who they roll out of bed into a state championship game. From your perspective, how resonant and how huge is that win for not just obviously 2022 to get to a title game, but what that means for you guys going forward?
Yeah, I mean, anybody would have told me that last year that I was going to beat the Katy Tigers to go to a state championship. I would have literally said, stop joking.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it was that kind of if I went back and watched Steph's interview with me after, I mean, like I was on cloud nine. I mean, I still couldn't believe it had happened, you know. I was just so proud of our kids. It was a really fun thing of like, you know, you guys say it. That's why you play the game. You know, we weren't picked by anybody, and we weren't a bad team by any means. But to beat them, 9-time state champs, Gary Joseph's a friend of mine. He does such a great job. He is an icon in Texas high school football. His dad is too, and so, you know, for that to happen, we made so many big-time plays and big moments that kind of stuff really can start propelling your program to new levels. We actually made the plays when it counted in that environment, packed house, the Katy band playing the whole time, all the stuff that you hear about. And so I was really proud of our coaching staff and our kids.
You guys get to the title game, fall short to DeSoto. There are some programs that I don't want to say there's a happy to be there feeling. You don't feel like, hey, guys, fantastic. How much of that is in the program and how much of it is, all right, now we know we're 48 minutes away. That's where we are. How much of it is finding that way to the next step?
I hope that people watch the game. I thought we played like a team that expected to win. Even though we lost, we played really well early. Had a couple plays that didn't go our way early. The drop pick six, a couple of things there. But obviously DeSoto is a great program, and congrats to Coach Mathis. But I hope that I sense around us that we are proud of what we did, but I don't sense anybody saying, well, congrats. You know, we've got a lot of guys back, a lot of guys that played a ton of snaps that are on edge about trying to find a way to prove that they're the best Viper team ever. One
of the guys you've got coming back is actually the 6A cover boy in the 2023 summer edition of Dave Campbell's Texas Football.
First time ever in Vandegrift history.
Miles Coleman. He might actually be here right now. I'm looking around. If you've never seen this guy, he's not huge.
Nope.
I mean, he's one of the most dynamic, fun-to-watch players in the state. The highlight reel is fun. But as the guy who sees him every day in practice and sees him in the locker room and in the quiet moments, what is it about him that makes him special?
I just thought it was so cool because you could even sense it in the playoff games. You kind of start getting a following, and every time he touched the ball, you could even hear it in the crowd. And when you get tackled for a 10-yard gain, everybody's like, oh, kind of a letdown, you know. And so Miles is so electric with the ball. What I like about Miles is his humbleness and his ability to just be a hard worker. He is one of the best players in the state, and you would never know it talking to him. He brings such humility to every conversation. He's a great leader. He's a quiet leader. He's working on being more vocal. That was one of his goals this year, and he's doing a great job of that. He's bulked up in the weight room and looks stronger, and he's ready to lead us on the field next year.
You guys also, replacing a guy like Braden Buchanan is not easy.
Yeah.
However, you guys got a nice addition in the offseason in Deuce Adams and his brother Eli Adams coming in from New Braunfels Canyon. He was spectacular there. Obviously, not a ton of practice time and stuff like that, and getting him on the field. With what you've seen and what you've gotten to know about Deuce Adams and his brother Eli, what are they going to bring to this program?
Well, first of all, their dad was great. He was a great player at Texas. A lot of people may not know that. Mike Adams, he coached for me about 5 years ago, and so that was our connection there. So I was able to hire him back. Really happy to have him. But Eli, receiver, talented. He is probably one of the faster straight-ahead guys we might have on our team. Like, he has got really fast, just top-end speed.
Yeah.
And so I'm pleased to see what that's going to happen, because now you've got Miles in one slot. He can move anywhere. And now if you want to concentrate on him, we have a kind of an over-the-top guy, which I'm really pleased with him. And then Deuce is extremely talented, Louisville commit. He just got there. He's battling with a senior, rising senior Drew Mestamaker. We'll make that decision here, by first couple of games. But Deuce is running. Obviously has a talented arm. You don't commit to Louisville without having that. But his ability to just kind of move around in the pocket is impressive. He's got great top-end speed himself, but his shiftiness, quickness is evident.
One of the things I think is interesting about last year's team, you guys have always been a really strong defensive team, and last year suddenly you guys found yourselves in some shootouts, going back and forth, stuff like that. For this defense, you guys are bringing back. You guys are pretty young, bringing back a lot of that core of that defense. What's going to be the key to taking that next step and getting to that championship level caliber defense?
That's a great question. I thought our defense was point-wise one of our best we've ever had. In the playoffs, we just couldn't. I think we just faced some really good offenses too.
Yeah, the opponents probably had something to do with it.
But our front six, we play that broken stack, and our front six will be very strong this year. Our secondary is replacing some pieces. Besides our middle guy, Alex Foster, who's all over the place, had 192 tackles last year. And so I'm excited to see who steps up in the secondary. And then our front is very experienced, so I'm looking forward to seeing them pushing people around and be strong.
You guys had your best year in program history last year. You are, as we've said many times in this program, the winningest coach in Vandegrift history.
Yes.
How much of that run to the state championship do you credit to this interview and meeting with Dave Campbell's Texas Football in the summer?
I would say a good 8%.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. I received that.
You like that percent?
I received that. Thank you.
And 92% my players.
Yes.
Coaches,
yeah. Probably. Yeah.
A good 8%.
Hey.
I would say 7% to you and 1% to Steph.
Yep, that's fair. I agree. Yeah. I think I deserve most of the credit in that, but we'll give a token gesture to him. Finally, Coach, with Coach Drew Sanders of the Vandegrift Vipers, you are a Hardin-Simmons guy.
Yes.
Right? You're a cowboy, proud cowboy.
Yes, for sure.
I've heard rumors that you are cutting checks to Mary Hardin Baylor.
Oh, yes. It was a hard decision.
Can you explain yourself, please?
Well, my defense is a couple of things. Number one, UMHB wasn't around when I played, so maybe that'll help defend me a little bit. Number two, I had to let them choose, and they both ended up picking UMHB, and it upset a lot of Hardin-Simmons crews. Still, some people still mad at me about that. In a couple years, I'll beg back to try to get back in the Hardin-Simmons fold. We'll see if they'll accept me back.
It's tough. I mean,
it is tough.
It's but you got to do what's best. Best for the boys.
And they've done good. And my other one's graduated. He's going to Dell to be a sales guy or an analyst at Dell. And then my other one is getting close to finishing. Okay,
so he's going to Dell, so you can start borrowing money from him.
Oh, my goodness, yes. Yeah. He's making way more than I made my first job, I can tell you that.
The state of the Vipers is strong. You heard it here, according to Coach Drew Sanders. Coach, appreciate your time.
Thank you. Thank you, Tipper.